Good morning, everybody. Good morning, Instagram. Good morning, Facebook. And good morning, all of my students here with me today. It's always a pleasure to be here with all of you. At any time during your class, know that you're more than welcome to take a break, have a drink, rest anytime. You're also welcome to move into other variations of postures that might feel right for you within the moment. And feel free to skip anything that's not working for you today as well. Really make this practice just what you need it to be. So let's begin. Most of my students here are lying down. You're more than welcome to stay lying down to come into the breath. If you prefer to find a meditative seat to come into your breath, then that is also welcome here. So just make your way into your favorite way today, just to start to settle in. You might invite a block or a pillow up underneath your hips if you are seated. Once you find a place to be, you'll just let your eyes softly close. And start to breathe in and out through your nose. Just giving yourself several moments to really settle in. Releasing any to-do lists for the day. Releasing any conversations that you had or things that happened this morning. And just giving yourself some time to really become present within the body. Once you're ready, you'll start to take deeper inhales through your nose, down into your belly, letting your belly get big. And then you'll softly release. Long, slow inhale to expand. And then exhaling. We'll take several more rounds this way. And just allowing your breath to grow a little deeper over time. Maybe each breath you take is able to expand the lungs slightly more. And then on our next round of breath, we'll start to activate the exhale to bring a bit more power with the breath. So we'll still inhale down into the belly, even into the side ribs and into the low back. But to exhale now, we'll start to engage the pelvic floor up and lightly draw the belly in towards the spine. Relax that effort. When you're ready to breathe in, belly gets big. And then to exhale, we contract our deepest abdominal and pelvic floor muscles inward and upward. And we'll practice several more this way. This is called a belly bonfire breath. It helps you find the power of your mula bandha, that's your abdominal lock, that pelvic floor lift. And also helps you to layer on your uddiyana bandha, that abdominal lock, the low belly drawing in towards low spine. Let's get about 5 more. And if you get 4 or 6, it's all good. Taking your time. Really honing in on that sensation, that strength. About 3 more together. Last few. Last one, really expand the belly. Exhale, lift pelvic floor, draw low belly in, pause, notice the length at the spine, notice that support. And then we'll just take some easier breaths in and out through the nose. Maybe noticing a subtle change to your overall general being, a sense of peace. Maybe the belly is starting to feel a little stronger. From wherever you are, we'll take our right hand now and place it over the heart center. Left hand we'll place over on top of the right. Holding yourself here. And from this space, we will open up our class with the sound of Om and prepare with one breath. Let's take it in together. And exhale. Inhaling for your Om. Have a beautiful class, everybody. So you can start to wake yourself up gently, especially if you're on your back, just taking your knees into your chest and giving yourself a hug and a squeeze. If you're seated, you can just take another moment here. We'll start to make our way gently into a tabletop position where we will begin our warm-up today. So opening up your eyes and taking your time to get yourself there. If you do have blocks with you, just leave them up near the front of your mat for now, because that's where you will need them. And once you get onto hands and knees, we're just going to start to wag the tail. So we'll take the right shoulder to the right hip, and you can even press back towards a baby child's pose there. And then inhale through center, and exhale, wagging to the other side. So just moving easily from one side to the other, try to open up through the side ribs. And as you gently press back a little bit, getting down right into where the side ribs meet the hip. And we'll just get about one more on each side, but if your body would like more, that's perfectly fine. This is your time to practice. And we're going to start to take this motion into some circles. So you might start by pressing back, then go through center towards the heels. Inhaling forward and circling around. Exhaling, circling around and back. And as we're here, we want to really press all 10 finger pads into the floor. If you prefer to take some pressure off the hands, you could take the forearms down and maybe just spread the knees wider if this variation feels better in your body. And either one is fine. We'll just start to take these circles in the opposite direction. Belly is lightly engaged just to help protect lower back here. And we're on our last round. If you need to go back the other way for a moment or take some half circles with the hips, you can go right ahead and go for that. And we'll meet our way back in the middle in tabletop on hands and knees if you drop down to the forearms for a few cows and cats here. Let's inhale, arch and look up. Exhale, curl, tuck chin to chest, and really pull the back up to the ceiling. Inhale, back to your cow, lowering the belly. And exhale, curling up into your cat, really press. Let's get 4 more. Inhaling, arching. And exhaling, curling, maybe drawing pelvic floor upward. Last few here. Last 2. And one last one. Nice. Let's come back to neutral spine. We're just going to practice taking the right leg back. This is an extended tabletop position. Lifting your leg up so it's now in line with your body and gaze comes straight down to the ground. If you'd like to make it more challenging, we'll bring the opposite arm forward here. You can keep your gaze straight down towards the floor. Heel reaches back, back ankle flex. Top of the head is reaching strongly forward. We'll take a big breath in here. As you exhale, curl and tuck elbow and knee towards each other, or maybe it's just the knee. Inhale long and strong. Exhale, curl, pelvic floor lifts. Just one more. Inhale and exhale. Let's come back to lengthen and then take just your hand to the floor. Now this is a bit challenging. We're going to curl the back toes under and then lift that knee up. So you're in a hovered tabletop with one leg lifted. Let's come to 3-leg dog from here. Inhale, lift up, stretch that leg. Maybe you bend and extend at the knee or circle out the ankle. Just a full big yawn here for your body. Maybe open up the hip by bending your knee and stretching your foot for the opposite shoulder. On your next breath in here, we'll come back to a 3-leg dog, kicking the leg back and straight.
And exhale, downward facing dog. Let's come through a rolled plank. Bend your knees, extend the spine. Exhale, pick up the hips, roll and wave into plank. Inhale here, and exhale, lower knees, and then all the way down to the floor. Tuck your chin, inhale, lift for cobra, and exhale, press up and back to downward facing dog. Coming back to hands and knees, we're going to try our extended table on the other side. Left leg kicks back, low belly in. You want to really press your fingertips into the floor here so that you're not taking too much pressure on the wrist. Opposite arm reaches forward. Stay for a breath. And one more. Prepare with an inhale. Exhale, curl and tuck. Two more. Inhale, reach. Exhale to curl. You got one last one. Inhale and curl. Let's extend and pause. Taking that hand down to the floor. Squeeze pelvic floor in and up. Curl the back toes. Hovered tabletops. You just kind of press back a bit so the knee lifts. And then inhale to three-leg dog. You can bend and extend the leg, kick it around. Maybe you keep it bent and open up the hip there. Let's inhale back to a three-leg dog and exhale, downward facing dog. Let's drop the knees, sit back on the heels for a moment so we can get up off the hands. Take your arms up overhead, make two fists. We're just going to circle out the wrists for a moment. The more firmly you squeeze and circle, the deeper the stretch will become here. You can shake that off a little bit. Anytime you need to rest, make sure you go ahead and do so. Don't forget that. All right, maybe flick the water there. And we're going to come back up onto the hands as you are ready. So back to hands and knees we go. Curl the toes, lift the knees up to your hover here. Hovered tabletop with 2 feet down. Press the hips back now and find downward facing dog. And we'll start to pedal the feet. Bend one knee at a time, deeply gripping into the floor with all 10 fingers. We're trying to spread the shoulders a little bit away from each other here to get a longer stretch into the upper back. And we'll get ready to travel to the front of the mat now. Bend your knees, look forward. Exhale, step your feet up to the hands, as many steps as you need. Inhale to your half lift, hands onto the shins, nice long spine, crown of the head forward. Exhale, soften your knees and fold it down. We'll try that again. So inhale halfway. Here's your strength. Feel the belly super strong. And then exhale, fold. One more time. Notice the difference. Inhale powerfully, halfway. Exhale, totally soften and surrender. And then here you can let your head be heavy. Maybe you sway a little side to side, bringing the weight more into one foot and then the other. Letting any remaining worries or issues that you carried into the room with you just disappear into the floor. Full breaths in and out. One more breath. On your next inhale, half lift again, hands to shins, nice long spine. Exhale to fold. Let's find extended mountain. Rise up with breath. Sweep the arms. Lift the gaze. Exhale, draw hands to heart center, standing in a mountain pose, feeling the belly start to scoop in gently. Hands are pressing together lightly but firmly enough to help you draw those shoulders down. Let's find our first core strength flow together. Inhale, arms stretch up. Exhale, we bow all the way down. Inhale to your half lift. Exhale to down dog, hands plant and step back. Practicing our waved plank here. We'll bend the knees and extend the spine. Exhale, roll and wave into plank. Inhale, and as you exhale, either drop knees to the floor all the way down or lower to this modified chaturanga and stay. Inhale, either up dog or a cobra here. And then as you exhale, pick the hips up, come up and back, downward facing dog, big breath. Let it out. You can pedal out your feet or have a still dog for one more round. Traveling to the front of the mat, bend your knees, inhale, bend knees, and exhale, walk it forward. Inhale halfway, and exhale to fold. We're going to come to chair from here. So let's bend the knees, start to slide the hips back. You're in a pretty deep squat. And then start to lift the torso on an inhale. If you notice you're too far down, you can always come back up. You want to keep the pelvic floor squeezing in, and maybe the hips come down. Let's take the arms out to the side, find some cactus arms here. Pretend there's a little shelf, and you're pressing your strong arms into it. Peek down, make sure you can see your toes. If the knees are jutting a little bit too far forward, try to slide the hips back. 2 breaths here. One more round. Looks great. Inhale, rise tall. And exhale, bow. Let's take our next flow. Inhale to half lift. Exhale, down dog, hands plant, walk or take a little jog back there. Inhale, knees bend. Exhale, wave your plank, tuck the chin, hips high. Inhale here. Exhale, knee down, chaturanga or the floor. Inhale, up dog or cobra. And exhale, take it up and back. 1 breath. Let's take the right leg to the sky. Big breath in. As you exhale, knee comes right to the nose. Shift forward, pick the hips up. Here's your tiger curl. 2 more times like that. Inhale, kick it up. Exhale, lift it in and up. 1 more. Exhale, take it in and up. Pause, step to your hand. Staying in our runner's lunge, we're going into a runner's lunge twist. So if you have a block, you might want to take it under the left hand. And then we'll take the right arm up to the sky. We're going to just come in and out of this a few times. Start with an in-breath here. As you exhale, circle your hand for the back foot, dip the back knee. Inhale, lift it up and around. Exhale, back and down. So the knee lightly lowers and lifts as the arm circles. Just getting rid of any cobwebs there in the shoulders. Getting a little deeper into the leg muscles. We'll get 1 more of these. And then make your way back into twist. Try to press up and away from the block. So the weight's in the legs. Very, very lightly taking the hand onto the block. 2 more. Either gazing for your hand, the side, or down to the floor. Let's inhale our way up to Crescent Lunge. So pick it up, face forward, back heel stays, lift it. We're going to get a few freedom lunges here, arms forward. Inhale, open up. And exhale, hug and dip, back knee down. Inhale, expand. And exhale, curl. So I like to pretend I'm just kind of floating in the ocean here, just like the seaweed. And let's get 1 more. Good. Let's come back up to crescent and pause. We're going to make our way from here into a standing split. Inhale, get ready. As you exhale, you'll start to take your hands to the mat a little bit more forward than your front foot. And if you have blocks, hands to blocks. Bend both knees so you can launch up and lift the back leg. I'm just going to pop back a bit there. So from here, you might start to come a little bit deeper, hands to the ground, or staying more upright. Back toes try to point down here. Another breath in and out. Couple squats. Let's get ready. You're going to take an inhale, bend both knees, tuck it in, just like we kind of did on that tiger curl. And then exhale, kick it up to the sky. Inhale, tuck it in. Exhale, kick it up. One more. Nice, powerful kick. Kick it up. From here, we're landing in Warrior Two. So the back foot lands towards the back of the mat. Heel drops. And we cartwheel our way up to face the side. Right toes point forward. Left toes are either pointing to the long end of your mat or slightly up towards the corner. Big breath here. Active rest. And just one more round. Let's flip the right palm. Inhale, sweep up and back. Exhale, cartwheel it down to downward facing dog. Breath in and out. One more breath in your down dog, gripping all through the floor with the fingers. Same on the other side. Let's take the left leg up to the sky. Exhale, let's take the tiger curl in and up, practicing for those squats. Inhale, take it up. Exhale, curl it forward. One more time. Nice breath. Curl it forward, pause, and then step to your hand. Crescent lunge. I like to bend the back knee a little to come up. That helps protect the lower back. Then once we're there, take a peek at the hips. They should point forward, feet about, hips width apart. You can bring the arms up to start. Start to really lengthen up through the spine here. Let's take our seaweed arms forward. Inhale, open up, expand the back leg. Exhale, dip and curl. A few more. Inhale and exhale. Really just make this your own. Every time you dip and curl, lower belly, pelvic floor hugs in. Last one. Let's inhale up. And then stay here. So got to sneak that twist in. I almost skipped it. We're going to just take it now. Take a big breath in. As you exhale, let's take the hands down to the ground for runner's lunge twist. Right hand stays down on the block, left arm to the sky. So things don't always go as planned. Skip that. But we can always come right back to it. We're going to find those little circles. Take an inhale, reach for the sky. Exhale, dip the knee, arm circles up and around. Last one. Find one more circle just to help you expand the arm up. Maybe you kick a little longer through the back heel. Strengthen that leg a bit more, perhaps lifting some of the weight up off the block there or the floor. Coming back to crescent lunge, let's lift our way up and settle in. Getting ready for our standing split. Breath in. Exhale, start to take your hands towards the front of the mat, maybe fingertips on the floor as you lift up, or taking a few blocks up under your hand here. So we try to dial the hips to be even with each other. Back toes point down, so the leg might not lift up that high. Totally fine. One more breath to hold the stretch. Let's get ready for those squats. We'll take an inhale and bend both knees. Exhale, extend and kick it up. Inhale, crunch it in. And exhale, kick it up. One more. Inhale, tuck. Exhale, kick it up as high as you can. Keep it there. And then make your way to Warrior Two. Back leg drops now. Heel drops. And we'll open up. Can take a moment to make sure your hips are happy. Open up the arms. Gaze at the front thumb. Press into the outer edge of your back foot here. Stay with me. Looks great. One more breath in and out.
Flip the front palm, reverse your warrior in-breath. Exhale, cartwheel hands to earth. Step it on back, downward facing dog, big breath in. And out. Taking a rest in child's pose, knees to the edges of the mat. Big toes touch, let the hips come back towards heels. So just let your head rest. If it's not resting on the floor, you can bring a block underneath. If you would prefer an active rest in down dog, that's perfectly fine too. If you want to grab a drink or anything else, please allow yourself the time. We'll be here for another 3. Another 2. And one more. Let's come back up into our tabletop position. We're going to play around with our threaded needle pose here. So we'll start with the hands under the shoulders or a little further away if your wrists aren't that bendy. It's going to feel more comfortable for you. Right arm sweeps to the sky on an inhale, like you're peeling open, maybe even reaching back. Exhale, thread it underneath, cheek and chin to the floor, or cheek and shoulder. Let's peel again. Inhale, reach up, and exhale to thread. Let's just go with one more dynamic one. Inhale, peeling open. And exhale, let's land. Cheek on the floor, shoulder on the floor. You can either keep your left hand right under the shoulder, or you can reach it a little forward, maybe right towards the top of the mat or even off. Tenting your fingers a bit on the floor to get a big stretch through the ribs. Some of you like to play with balance here. It'll remind you a little bit of that standing split if you want to give it a try. So you would take the left leg back if you're going for it, and then kick that leg up to the sky. Trembling will occur here. Keep breathing. It's a lot harder than it looks. Last breath. And if you did lift that leg, let's gently place it down and return the left hand under the shoulder if you moved it. We'll come out on the inhale, stretch the arm to the sky, really reach it up, and then maybe just circle it back down to take it to tabletop. And we'll try the other side now. Big breath in on the left arm, stretching up and maybe even back. Exhale, thread. Twice again, inhale, open. And exhale, reach. One more. And reach, pause, shoulder, cheek on the floor. Right hand might reach forward, tenting the fingers. Long breaths into the belly. All the way into the upper back. If you would like to try the balancing variation, sliding the right leg back, squeeze the glute, flex the back heel or ankle, and lift it up. 3 breaths left. 2. 1. If you lifted your leg, gently place the knee back down. Bring your hand back under the shoulder. Sweep the left arm up on the inhale. And exhale, we'll circle it back around. Coming back into our down dog here. Curl your toes. Lift the knees. Start to press the hips up and back. And then take them up towards the sky. Downward facing dog. Big breath in. And out. One more. Traveling forward, inhale, look forward, knees bend. Exhale, walk or try a light hop of the feet forward if you're in the mood. Inhaling halfway and exhaling, folding it on down. Let's rise up, sweep the arms up.
And exhale, pause, mountain pose, hands at heart center. Taking a big breath in and out. One more round here. Squeeze pelvic floor, engage the belly. We're coming into some balance, standing on the right leg. This right leg. Let's take hands onto hips, or you can keep them here, whichever makes you feel most stable and grounded. Taking the left knee up, flex the left ankle. You can either keep your hands on the hips or at heart, or lift them up, which will make this a little bit more challenging. Psyched myself out there. Take a breath in. As you exhale, try to kick the leg forward. Inhale, bend. Exhale, kick. 2 to go. Inhale. And exhale. 1 more. And then keep it lifted as high as you can be, maybe hip height one day for another couple of breaths in and out. Try to get the shoulders to draw down a bit. And then we'll take it either into Warrior 3 or Airplane. Bend your knee. Start to press the foot back. Arms can reach forward for your Warrior 3 variation, trying to dial the toes down, or out to the side for Airplane. That might help steady the body. We're landing in not Warrior 2, in Crescent Lunge. Toes land. Arms reach up. Got ahead of myself. Now we'll land in Warrior 2. It's a little safer to land in Crescent first. Let's come out right away into our 5-pointed star. So pick up the right toes, pivot on your heel, and we're facing over this way. You're going to take your arms nice and wide. Take a big breath in. And exhale with knees bent. Just bow it on down. Make sure the edges of your feet are parallel to the edges of your mat. Allow your head to be very heavy there. Maybe coming into some gentle side lunging. Bending the right knee. Hips come back. Inhaling through center and exhaling, bending the left. And as you're moving into these side lunges side to side, if you're adding them in, be aware we're trying to draw the hips back so that as we bend the knees, they do not jut past the toes. It's okay if they're in line with the toes or further back, but we just don't want them coming too far forward, which puts pressure on the front of the knee. After a couple of these, we will take ourselves back to the middle where we will rest for a few breaths. If you're very bendy, you can take your hands underneath you and like a little tree frog, pull the floor so you start to come deeper. If you have less flexibility in the back body, no worries. Maybe you just take hands onto the block or something here and let your knees be soft enough so that you can lengthen the spine. 2 more breaths in and out. One last one. Let's inhale to half lift. Exhale, hands onto hips. Maintain this half lift. And then inhale up to a tall spine. We'll make our way back to our Warrior 2 on the right side. So picking up the right toes, pivot on the heel. Toes and knees point in the same direction. Back foot parallel to the back of the mat or drawing gently inward a bit. We'll come into our extended side angle through reverse warrior. Flip the right hand. Inhale up and back. Really reach super long through the side ribs. And then as you exhale, find extended side angle. Forearm on the front thigh. Arm up towards the sky here. Or if you would like to find your half bind, turn your palm to face behind you. Bend your elbow and try to take your hand into the slower part of your back. Not relying too much on that front arm for support. So press your arm into the thigh, thigh into the arm. Try to really lengthen through the crown of the head and the back heel. 1 more breath in and out.
2 more breaths for added challenge. You can lift your right arm up off your thigh and then reach your arms over towards those ballet bars if you're going for that. Last round. Right arm back to thigh, left arm to sky. Inhale, sweep up and back. And exhale, we'll cartwheel to down dog to stretch the legs out. Take a moment. Oh, doesn't that feel good? You can pedal the feet or stay still. Spreading shoulders away from each other. Maybe trying to roll the pits of the elbows a bit more forward to help open up the shoulders. And then we're going to start that from the front of the mat all over again. So bend your knees and look where you're going. Exhale, walk or try a hop forward. Inhale, halfway. Exhale, fold it down. Inhale, rise up. And hands to heart. Take a moment to rest. One more grounding breath. All right, my yogis, let's try the other side. So this time we're going to balance on the left leg. I like my hands at the hips. You could go for heart center as well. Pelvic floor lifts, low belly in. Start to lift the right knee up here. Staying here or adding extra challenge by reaching up. Try not to crunch your ears. Try to keep some space. Take a breath in. Exhale, kick. Try to keep it high. Inhale to bend. Exhale to kick. Love the breath. Sounds fantastic. Kick. Last one. Kick it forward. Try to keep it high. Don't clench your toes on the floor. Whoa, last breath. Warrior 3 or airplane, bend the knee. Start to press your foot back. Arms reach forward for warrior 3, which is more challenging. Out to the side for airplane. Find a drishti, a focal point, and just keep your eyes on it. Nice, soft gaze. Landing in crescent. You can always land earlier. Arms up. Then warrior 2, drop the heel, open up wide, and then come to 5-pointed star. Just pick up your toes, pivot on your heel. Now on this side, we're simply coming into a different arm variation in our fold. Arms will interlace behind you. Inhale, open up the heart. Exhale, bend the knees, press the hips back, and then fold it down. Big breaths in and out. If this is not feeling comfortable for your shoulders, definitely just take your hands down to the floor. If it just is a little bit uncomfortable, you might need something to bring more distance in between your hands. So maybe using a strap, or if you happen to have something else nearby, whether it's a shirt or a sock, whatever. Last one here. If your hands are interlaced, keep them there. Otherwise, you can take them to the hips. We'll inhale all the way up this time. Bend your knees and press all the way up. Now let's relax the hands down. Maybe roll the shoulders back a couple times, releasing any tension and bringing them forward. Any other little movements that feel naturally good in the moment. And then coming into our same thing here on the other side. So warrior 2, left toes to the top of the mat. Back heel might push back so that your back toes are kind of pointing up towards the top right corner of the mat. Spread your arms, bring your gaze to your thumb. Reverse warrior, flip the left hand. Inhale, reach up and back, really savor it. Draw that top arm away from the shoulder. And then on the next exhale, we find extended side angle. Arm might stay reaching to the sky or turn the palm back. Half bind takes your palm to the lower back. Try to really work that long line of energy from the crown of the head to the back foot. Couple of breaths here. If it doesn't feel good to look up, you can look for your foot. You just want your neck to be strong. If you'd like that last little moment for extra, take your left arm up off the leg and serve it forward, palm to the sky. Big breath. Returning, arm to the thigh, and now right arm to sky. Inhale, sweep up and back. Exhale, cartwheel it down. We made it. Downward facing dog. Step it on back. Take a big breath in and out. One more here. Last standing sequence. Bend your knees and look forward. Exhale, walk the feet or take a hop to the top of the mat. We'll inhale halfway, stick your hips back, long spine. Exhale, soften. Fold down, shake out your heads. Let all your worries disappear. And coming into our very final balance, let's sweep up, extended mountain, rise, press into the feet as you lift up. And then exhale, hands to heart. Pause. So we're coming into a half moon. If you do have blocks, I would suggest you put them up at the top of your mat. If you do not, water bottles can work in a pinch, but you want to make sure because water bottles are obviously less stable. And if this just isn't working for you today, always feel free to take a different balance. Totally fine, does not hurt my feelings whatsoever. All right, let's give it a go. We'll take the arms up, big breath. Exhale, we hinge. Let's find our half lift. Maybe taking two hands to blocks, or if you only have one block, you'll take just your right hand onto the block. Let's then walk the right hand a little bit out to the side. This is going to give you a bigger base. Start to lift the left knee and left elbow into the chest. And then from here, picture yourself like a flower sprouting open into half moon. Reaching your arm up, kicking the heel back. Your gaze can stay to the floor. That's going to be a lot easier. You're always welcome to change the drishti if you would like an additional challenge by either looking towards the side or to the sky. We'll stay for another 3. Another 2. Final 1. Last inhale. And exhale, drop your foot right down next to the other one. Find your forward fold. Inhale halfway. Exhale to fold. Inhale, rise. Exhale, hands heart center. Give yourself a breath to absorb. We only have one more to do here. Let's take it to the other side. Inhale up. Exhale, bend the knees, hinge and bow. So soft. Inhale halfway. Now the strength comes back. If you just have one block, we just bring it under the left hand. Otherwise, you can have both hands on blocks here. Walk your block off to the side, wider base. Right knee and elbow draw in. Use pelvic floor and low belly to get them up there. And then picture that little sprout pushing through the gorgeous spring mud, reaching and opening up. Gazing to the floor, to the side. If you're very stable, up. One more full breath. Last breath in. And exhale, come on down to forward fold. Foot drops, hands drop down. Inhale halfway. Let's exhale to ragdoll. Bend the knees, grab opposite elbows. Just let yourself be heavy.
Head might shake gently, nodding yes or no, or making little circles. One more big breath in and out here. Let's inhale halfway. And then we're coming into Malasana here. So just start to toe heel the feet out a little wider, toes point out, and start to drop the hips down into your deep squat. Taking your hands together in prayer maybe, pushing elbows into the knees. When I first started doing this, my heels did not touch the floor. So if your heels don't touch the floor, it might happen eventually. If not, all good too. If you really need a little extra something, you can sit on a few blocks here. Mine's too low, but maybe a few. I'm going to try to stay for another 3. Another 2. And 1. Hands to the floor. Inhale, lift the hips, take the feet back, hips width distance and parallel. Half lift, hands to shins. Exhale, down dog, plant the hands, walk it back. Coming to forearm plank, let's shift forward into our high plank. Dropping down onto your forearms from here. Make sure you're in that nice long push-up position. And I like to take my forearms parallel to the sides of the mat. Kind of working like on your chaturanga arms here, except that you have the forearms down. Picturing that if you just had palms down, would look just the same. Coming into some saws today, maybe rolling a bit forward and back on the toes. Still squeezing the pelvic floor. If you find it easier to interlace your fingers under your nose and create like a little triangle with your arms, that option is available for another 4, 3, 2, and Sphinx Pose. Drop your knees and thighs, pelvis, but keep the chest lifted. Drop the tops of your feet down now. And try to drag yourself forward without actually going anywhere. That's going to help lengthen out through your spine. Gaze just neutral to the floor. No need to look up and crane the back of the neck. 1 more. And we're just going to relax on the belly. Let your arms come back. Face your head in one direction. You can bend your knees. And just let your feet flop side to side. If your quads are tight, you might even get a little massage on the floor just by rolling the legs on the ground. We're going to make our way into a quadricep stretch. So some of you might be comfortable staying on your belly, reaching back for your right leg, grabbing the ankle or your foot, and pulling the heel into the hips or into the glutes there. Maybe lifting the knee up a little bit and kicking for a little deeper sensation of stretch. And then stopping the kicking and just pulling with the hand. Some of us can't get the leg that way or just aren't comfortable staying. So you could always roll over onto your side. Grab the foot there instead. So not worrying about doing it right or wrong here. Really just worrying about getting into that front of the leg, your quadricep muscles. Try not to overarch the low back. I'd rather you tuck the tailbone in a little bit, at least to start, so you protect the low back. And then maybe give a deeper pull. Last 2. And just 1 more on that side. I'm going to switch it. So go ahead and release the right leg and grab the left.
So not only are your quadriceps the muscles we use the most in our practice, they're the ones you use most during your day. If you spend a lot of time seated, they can get locked in a short position, which makes them even tighter. Sometimes I like to hold with both hands. If you need to come onto your side, please do. And when you are on your side, make sure you're not arching the low back. Invite a little bit of a tuck at least into the pelvis. Last 2 breaths here. And one more. Let's release. And we're going to get into a few back strengtheners here. We'll begin with the arms out like airplane, palms down, feet hips width apart. I like to curl my toes under and use them to kind of pull my legs a little bit longer out of the hips. So I just do that for a moment. And then we'll start to come up. Take a breath in to get ready. Exhale, lift shoulders and thighs. So arms come up too, feet come up. You want to spread your toes wide open, fingers wide open. You could always take your hands down if that feels better for you. Could also lower the feet if it's a little too much for the lower back. Take another breath in and out. Final. Big inhale, coming a little higher. Nice land, and then land it. Take a cheek to one side. Just be. Coming into our last round of back strengtheners. This time we're going to try to take the arms forward. However, if it's too much, take them back out to the side, because bringing them up overhead will make it a little harder. Take an inhale to get ready. Exhale, lift arms and the legs. If you've got the arms and the legs forward, maybe you start to take another swim. So swimming through the ocean here, pedaling arms and feet for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2. Stop your pedaling, come high, and then release. You can either just stay where you are or flip your legs a little side to side again. And we're going to make our way onto our backs from here. Let's press yourself up. Roll on over. And once you arrive, we'll take the knees into your chest. Close your eyes. Try to release your back muscles so that they all soften down. Very gently, rocking from one side to the other to help release more parts of your back body down. The breath is long and slow. Let's take another breath. We're going to make our way into back bend here. So let's take our feet down to the earth, hips width apart, arms right alongside you. Get ready on an in-breath. Then as you exhale, we will lift the hips. We'll move on up through the spine till you're on your upper back. And you might walk the shoulders a little closer to each other in under you. That's going to bring you up slightly higher perhaps. Bringing the meaty, strong part of the shoulders underneath. We've got 3 breaths in and out, and in and out. One more. Inhale, lift a little higher and walk the shoulders out. And exhale, lower down from the upper spine all the way down till the hips land, and then come into a spinal traction by taking your hands now to the tops of the thighs.
Heels of the hands are right in the creases of your hip, and the thumbs might come around towards the inner thighs and pinkies to the outside. Start to press the tops of the thighs away, concentrating down just at the heel of the hand. So it's more the pelvis that's trying to push away. And you should feel a nice little stretch in your lower back. Let's breathe into that space. Two more there. And one more. We're coming up for a second bridge, holding it slightly longer this time, hands alongside. Inhale, prepare. Exhale, lift up. Now, if you were feeling as though you would rather take it easy, you can bring a block under your hips, either on a low height or a medium height, and set it right underneath the sacrum. That's the flat area there. And just allow the block to hold you. Otherwise, you're walking the shoulders a little closer to each other, and we're holding ourselves. Glutes are working, hamstrings are working. But try to soften through the front side of the body so we can still relax quadriceps, hip flexor muscles. Last 3. Last 2. One more. Inhale, walking the shoulders out, and exhale, coming all the way back down. This time we'll take the soles of the feet to touch, and the knees will drop open, recline bound angle. You can allow your palms to just face open here, arms land a few inches away from your body. And just taking some deep breaths in and out. Let's relax the forehead. Relax your jaw. Breathing deeply. Let's take another 3. Another 2. And one more. Nice. All right, let's take the knees back in. Little squeeze, little rock. And then we'll press both feet up to the sky. Very, very long. Point your toes. Hands come alongside you. You could walk your hands up under the hips a little. That'll bring more support for you if you need it during this little bit of core work. So I'd like you to try to get rid of that natural curve at the low back. So find a press there and really squeeze and activate pelvic floor muscles. And you'll start to make these tiny little circles in the sky. And we can just circle one way. And you want to start very small so it can help you find the action of your deep core. Then you might make deeper, longer, bigger circles. Sometimes as I circle my toes over towards the head, I even lift up the hips very teeny bit up off the floor, getting the lower belly involved more. And we're just kind of experimenting. We're going to just take that same action in the opposite direction. So let's start small again as we circle the other way. They might stay small, squeezing and lifting pelvic floor, pressing low back into the floor. Maybe they grow a little bigger. Now we're just kind of noticing how this is and what muscles we need. How are we stabilizing? Maybe the hips are very lightly lifting up as the toes circle over towards the head. And we'll go on our last one there. Quick break, knees to chest. Breathe freely, release all that pelvic floor action. Very last abdominal exercise. Hands behind your head, feet to the sky. I'd like you this time to draw the toes back as you point the feet. So you point your toes up, but then draw them back towards your head so it's more like you have on high heels. We're going to lift the shoulders up off the ground and work with long scissor legs. Drop the right heel to a hover and then switch and drop the left. So we're still working those long legs like we did all through class today, whether it was standing split, kicking the legs forward, maybe when we were doing our threaded needle, finding that same long action. Don't pull on your head, just let your hands hold the head. Last couple here. And then for our very last thing, the next time that the left heel hovers and the right leg is up, 8 pulses upper body. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2. Keep it up as you switch. And here we go. 8, 7, you got it. 6, 5, 4, I know. 3, 2, 1, and you're done. Give yourself a hug. You deserve it. Big, big hug there. Let's take the feet back to the floor, and we're going to bring them towards the edges of the mat so the feet are wide, arms spread out to the side, and just windshield wiper knees side to side. So as we do this, just a nice gentle twist. And eventually we're going to just let them land over towards the right. You might turn your closed eyes to the left. Now this is plenty for me. Some of you might want a deeper stretch. And if you would like to, you can give it a try by picking up your right ankle, putting it on top of the left leg, just on the outside of the knee. And then that foot will add a little weight. So you should feel more of a stretch through the side ribs right down to where the hip attaches. Now sometimes this feels really nice for me. Other days it's a little too deep. So you really want to be aware of where you are on any given day. Last 3. Two more. And last one. And if you do have your foot on top of your ankle or on top of your thigh, just gently slide it off. And you're going to put both feet once again on your mat, about hips width apart, not hips width apart, wider. And find that windshield wipering with the feet wide. Side to side. And then when you're ready, you'll just allow them to land to the left side. Maybe pick up left ankle and place it onto the outside of the right leg, just around at the knee. Four more breaths, either keeping it there, or if you don't like it there anymore, just take it off. Last 2. We'll now slide the ankle off of the leg and take your feet back to the floor. Toe heel your feet together, not to all the way, but just closer, hips width. Take your right ankle, cross it over on top of the left leg to find your figure 4 stretch. I like to start by keeping my left foot on the ground and just gently pressing the tops of the thighs away with both hands. So I'm pressing not only the top of the right, but the top of the left. And just directing the breath into the low back. If you would like to take this to another variation, you can interlace your fingers behind the left leg. Start to draw the knees in, and maybe inviting some gentle circles with that knee, circling it out and around a few times, maybe in and around a few times, and then just staying. 3 more. Two more. And 1. Let's drop the left foot to the floor. Take the right leg up to the sky and take your hands onto either the back of the thigh or up towards the calf. Bend the right knee a little and just start to pull the leg down into the floor and towards you. So we're trying to make sure the hip stays grounded, and then maybe taking it a little bit more forward into a hamstring stretch. That ankle can move a bit if it needs to. Good. Now let's take that down and let's just switch sides, starting with our figure 4. Cross your ankle over on top, left ankle this time over the right. Maybe just staying where you landed for the full duration. If you liked adding that extra spinal traction in here, pressing the tops of the legs away. If you would like to take your fingers interlaced behind the right leg, maybe adding in those gentle circles once you draw the knee in. Very small. Other way, maybe. Trying not to overthink it, but just being open and curious and experimenting. And then just taking your last few breaths wherever you feel best. Last 2. Last 1. If you lifted your right foot up, drop it down. Now take the left leg up to the sky, either interlacing your fingers behind the thigh or walking it up towards the calf. Bend your knee a little bit so that you can feel your back start to flatten down to the earth. Maybe the thighs coming a little closer to the chest. One more. And let's drop that foot down. Coming into wind relieving pose on the right knee into the chest, left leg stretches out long. Use your strong arms to squeeze your knee all the way up in towards the shoulder. Flex the opposite ankle and press the left heel long and away. Coming to supine twist, right arm reaches out, left hand guides your right knee over, allowing your right hip to come up, but we want to try to keep both shoulders down. Nice open, relaxed sensation through the chest. Closed eyes might face right. Last 2. Last 1. Let's switch. Inhale, unwind to center. Exhale, wind relieving pose first. So let's stretch out the right leg, interlace on the left shin, and really squeeze it up. So this is a great pose. have to make it active. Really use those strong arms. Pull the knee up. Stretch the other leg super duper long. Last breath here. And then moving into your twist, letting the left hand reach out to the left. Right hand guides your knee over and across. And we breathe. Last few. One more. On your next in-breath, you'll unwind. If there's any last move, asana, anything at all that your body craves before it's ready to rest, just take yourself to where you need to be. Don't overthink this, just kind of let your body let you know what it needs. And if there isn't anything else, you can allow yourself to come into your Shavasana now, or just coming in whenever you are ready. To bring ease into the lower back, you might opt to keep the knees bent with your feet on the floor and just separate them enough so the knees can gently knock into a place where they can hover with no effort. Check in with your shoulders. Maybe lift them up off the floor and inch them further away from the ears. You'd be surprised how much further down they can go. And just let yourself be here. Not reviewing the practice or going over what's next in your mind. Just let any thoughts that come be acknowledged and then just send them away. Allowing your heart and mind to be open to whatever happens to come, but without focusing or concentrating on any of these things. And just allowing this to be. If something should happen to arrive that causes you to feel emotional, maybe let yourself feel emotional. You're in a perfectly safe space here. Not necessarily thinking about those emotions, but just allowing them to course through the body. One of the beautiful things our yoga practice can teach us, there are thousands, but one of the things that I've really resonated with the most is to be comfortable being uncomfortable. So when those asanas come that challenge us, instead of freaking out or overthinking, we just give it a try and see what happens. And if we're here in stillness and those thoughts that we tend to try to push down come, just let them be. You're stronger than you know. We'll start to gently reawaken ourselves here, starting to deepen the breath just slightly. Maybe bringing some movement back into your body, wiggling toes and fingers, or gently stirring wrists and ankles. If you would like to stay reclined for the remainder of class, you can just stay here. If you would like to end seated for your final Om, start to draw the knees into the chest. Maybe rock a little side to side to gently reawaken yourself up more. And then rolling off to one side, or taking a few gentle rocks forward and back, whatever feels right. If you're going to seated, take your time. Well, I'll reconnect to our heart center here, taking the right palm over the heart and the left palm over on top of the right. Noticing that beautiful you that's beneath your hands. And making a little promise to let him or her shine. Closing with the sound of Om, we'll take a cleansing breath to prepare. Inhale here. Release. And let's inhale for our Om. Let's move our prayer hands now to third eye center, thumb knuckles press against the forehead. I thank you all so much for allowing me to guide you through your practice. I am honored by your presence and the dedication to your practice. The love and the light in me bows and honors the love and the light in all of you. Namaste. Thank you guys so much for being here with me. I hope you had a great practice. Take your time getting up. Thank you, Facebook. Have a great day.